My cruel mother-in-law and husband pushed me out of the boat in the middle of the lake. The icy, freezing water pierced my skin like needles, stealing my breath as I struggled to stay afloat. My arms flailed in desperation, but the shock of the cold made every movement painful. The boat drifted farther away, and I could see Jake standing at the edge, his expression cold and unfeeling. Beside him, Carol laughed loudly, her voice ringing out over the lake like a cruel taunt. "You'll never see that house again," Jake shouted, his voice cutting through the air like a blade. "It belongs to someone who deserves it." Carol leaned over the railing, her smirk widening. "Goodbye, Nina. Consider this your final chapter." Their laughter echoed in my ears as they turned the boat around, leaving me to fight for my life in the middle of Silverwater Lake. But they underestimated me. They thought I was weak, someone they could dispose of without a fight. They were wrong. I wasn't ready to give up, not now, not ever. Hello, my name is Nina Reed. I'm 29 years old, and for a while, I truly believed I had everything I ever wanted. I married Jake, my high school sweetheart, the man I thought I'd spend my life with. We met during my senior year, and his charm swept me off my feet. He was attentive, funny, and made me feel like the most important person in the world. After graduation, we tied the knot and moved into a beautiful house near Clearwater City. The house was everything I had ever dreamed of: large windows overlooking Silverwater Lake, a spacious yard, and enough charm to make it feel like home. Jake worked as a paramedic, and I admired his dedication to helping others. His job came with long hours, but I never doubted his commitment to our life together. Then there was Carol, Jake's mother. Before the wedding, she had been warm and welcoming, often calling me her future daughter. She shared family recipes and gave me advice on how to manage a home. At first, I thought I was lucky to have such a supportive mother-in-law. The first year of marriage was blissful. Jake and I spent weekends exploring the lake in a small boat, planning our future, and talking about the family we hoped to start someday. Life felt perfect until things began to change. It started subtly. By the second year of our marriage, Carol's visits became more frequent. Her tone shifted from friendly to critical. She made biting comments about how I cleaned the house or handled our finances. I brushed it off, thinking she was just being overprotective of Jake. Then Jake began to change. The man who once went out of his way to make me feel special started coming home late, making excuses. When he was home, he was distant, often glued to his phone. I told myself he was stressed from work, but deep down, I sensed something was wrong. One evening, Jake handed me a stack of papers to sign. "It's just for house insurance," he said, flashing his usual smile. "We're updating the policy in case of emergencies." I trusted him completely and didn't think twice before signing. Little did I know, I had just signed away my share of the house to Jake. A month later, a letter arrived from a real estate agency confirming the upcoming sale of our home. Confused and panicked, I confronted Jake that evening. "You tricked me," I shouted, my voice trembling with disbelief. "You made me sign over my share of the house without telling me." Jake didn't even flinch. He stared at me coldly, his tone sharp. "It's for the best, Nina. You're not capable of managing a house like this. Carol and I have plans, and you're not part of them." His words cut me like a knife. My home, my sanctuary, was being taken from me by the two people I trusted most. The next day, Carol showed up unannounced. Her once friendly demeanor had been replaced by an air of superiority. "This is for the family," she said dismissively, waving away my outrage as if I were a child throwing a tantrum. "You should be grateful Jake has taken care of you all this time. This house isn't yours, it's his. You've been lucky to live here at all." "Lucky?" I shot back, my anger boiling over. "I've contributed to this house as much as he has. You lied to me, manipulated me, and now you're selling it behind my back? How can you justify this?" Carol smirked. "You wouldn't understand what it takes to manage a property like this. Jake and I have it under control. It's time for you to move on." Her words enraged me. If you think I'm going to let you get away with this, you're wrong. I'll fight this. I'll go to the authorities if I have to. For the first time, I saw a flicker of unease cross her face. She glanced at Jake, who had been silently watching the confrontation. His expression darkened. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be," Jake said, his voice icy. "You'll regret it, Nina." That night, I called a lawyer to explore my options. While I was still gathering evidence, Jake and Carol were already plotting their next move, a plan far more sinister than I could have imagined. The atmosphere in the house grew unbearable. Jake and Carol avoided me during the day, but their hostility was palpable in every glance and word. I could feel the walls closing in around me. One evening, Jake approached me with an unusual suggestion. "Why don't we take a day to relax? Just the three of us. Let's go out on the lake this weekend," he said, his tone uncharacteristically kind. I narrowed my eyes, suspicious of his sudden warmth. Why the sudden change of heart? "You've been under so much stress," he replied, flashing a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "It'll be good for us to clear the air." Carol chimed in, unusually cheerful. "I'll pack us a picnic. It'll be like old times." I hesitated, unsure whether to believe them. But a part of me wondered if this was their way of trying to reconcile. Against my better judgment, I agreed. "Fine, but this doesn't mean I've forgiven either of you." The morning of the trip, the sun shone brightly over Silverwater Lake. We rented a small boat, and Jake handed me a life jacket with a wide grin. "Safety first," he said. I put it on, still uneasy but trying to push my doubts aside. As the boat drifted into deeper waters, I tried to relax, focusing on the peaceful ripples and the warmth of the sun. For a fleeting moment, it felt like the good old days, but that peace didn't last. As we moved farther from the shore, the atmosphere shifted. The friendly chatter faded, replaced by an eerie silence. I caught Jake and Carol exchanging glances, their smiles growing tense and calculated. "Nina," Jake said suddenly, his voice unnervingly calm. "We need to talk." A cold knot formed in my stomach. "What's this about?" Carol leaned forward, her eyes sharp and full of malice. "Let's not drag this out. You've been nothing but a thorn in our sides since you started fighting us about the house. Honestly, we've had enough." My heart pounded. "You stole my share of the house. You lied to me. And now you're blaming me?" Jake shrugged, his tone devoid of emotion. "You signed the papers. You didn't read them. That's on you. But instead of letting it go, you've caused problems. You even threatened legal action. We can't have that." His words sent a chill down my spine. "What are you saying?" Carol smirked. "It's simple. You don't belong in this family anymore. Consider this our goodbye." Before I could react, Carol lunged at me, grabbing the straps of my life jacket. I screamed, struggling to break free, but Jake joined in, ripping the jacket off entirely. "Please, don't do this," I cried, tears streaming down my face. "I'll leave. You'll never hear from me again." But they didn't care. Together, they shoved me over the side of the boat. The icy water hit me like a wall, stealing the breath from my lungs as I plunged beneath the surface. My limbs flailed in panic, but the cold numbed my body, making it hard to move. When I finally broke through to the surface, I gasped for air, my heart pounding as I fought to stay afloat. Above me, Jake and Carol stood at the edge of the boat. Jake's expression was emotionless, while Carol sneered down at me. "She can't swim," Carol said with a cruel laugh. "It's over for her." "Let's go," Jake said, his voice cold and final. Without another glance, they turned the boat around and sped away, leaving me to die in the middle of Silverwater Lake. But they underestimated me. Despite the shock and the numbing cold, a surge of determination coursed through me. Swimming had been one of my favorite activities growing up, a passion I had almost forgotten in the chaos of the past few years. I forced myself to take deep, steady breaths, focusing on keeping my strokes strong and controlled. The shore was too far away to see clearly, but I refused to give up. As I pushed through the water, each stroke sending pain shooting through my frozen limbs, I heard the faint hum of another boat in the distance. I turned my head, squinting against the glare of the sun. A small vessel was approaching, with 2 figures on board. I waved frantically, mustering every ounce of strength I had. One of them spotted me. The boat turned toward me, and within moments, strong hands pulled me out of the water. "Are you okay?" a man asked, his voice filled with concern. I couldn't respond at first, shivering uncontrollably as I gasped for air. A woman wrapped a thick blanket around my shoulders, her face etched with worry. "You're safe now," she said gently. "They tried to kill me. I finally managed to choke out. My husband and his mother. They threw me overboard." The man's expression hardened. "We saw everything," he said. "We recorded it. Don't worry, they won't get away with this." Their names were Adam and Mia. Adam was a lawyer, and Mia was his younger sister. They had been enjoying a peaceful day on Silverwater Lake when they witnessed the horrifying scene unfold. Adam showed me the video he had recorded, clear footage of Jake and Carol pushing me overboard and laughing as they sped away. The evidence was undeniable. "You're going to be okay," Adam assured me as they brought me back to shore. "We'll make sure they pay for what they've done." Once on land, I called my parents, my fingers trembling as I dialed the number. They arrived within an hour, their faces pale with shock and fury. My father hugged me tightly, his voice trembling with anger. "We're going to fight this, Nina. They won't get away with it." Adam helped me file a police report that evening, providing the video evidence along with my statement. Detective Roberts, the officer assigned to the case, was horrified as he reviewed the footage. "This is a clear case of attempted murder," he said grimly. "We'll issue arrest warrants immediately." The next day, Jake and Carol were taken into custody. Although I wasn't there to witness their arrest, Detective Roberts told me they looked stunned. They had assumed I wouldn't survive, let alone fight back. With Adam's help, I filed charges against Jake and Carol for attempted murder, conspiracy, and fraud. The case moved quickly thanks to the overwhelming evidence. Adam worked tirelessly, keeping me informed every step of the way and ensuring I felt supported throughout the process. When the trial began, I faced Jake and Carol in court. Sitting at the defendant's table, they looked a shadow of their former selves, pale and visibly shaken. Jake avoided my gaze, while Carol's eyes darted nervously around the room. The prosecution wasted no time presenting the video evidence. As the footage played, the courtroom fell silent. The sound of Jake and Carol's laughter as they pushed me into the lake echoed through the room, sending chills down my spine. The prosecutor painted a vivid picture of their crime, how they had manipulated me into signing over my share of the house, plotted to sell the property for their gain, and ultimately attempted to end my life when I threatened to take legal action. The video and witness statements from Adam and Mia were irrefutable. When it was my turn to testify, I stood tall, my voice steady despite the emotions threatening to overwhelm me. "Jake was the man I thought I'd spend my life with," I said, "and Carol was someone I trusted like a second mother. But they betrayed me in the cruelest way possible. They tried to take everything from me, my home, my dignity, and even my life. But I survived, and I'm here to make sure they face justice for what they've done." Jake's lawyer tried to argue that it was a misunderstanding, but the evidence was too strong. Adam's closing arguments were powerful, painting Jake and Carol as heartless schemers who thought they could escape accountability. The jury deliberated for only a few hours before returning with their verdict, guilty on all charges. When the judge delivered the sentence, a wave of relief washed over me. Jake and Carol were convicted of attempted murder, conspiracy, and fraud. They were sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The gavel struck, signaling the end of the trial. Jake turned to me one last time, his expression blank. Carol, on the other hand, looked furious, as though she still couldn't believe her carefully laid plans had fallen apart. As I left the courtroom, I was greeted by Adam, Mia, and my parents. My father hugged me tightly, his voice filled with pride. "You did it, Nina. You stood up for yourself, and justice was served." Adam smiled. "You were incredibly brave through all of this. They'll never hurt you again." In the weeks that followed, I focused on healing. I moved back in with my parents, their unwavering support helping me recover from the trauma. Therapy became a crucial part of my journey, giving me the tools to process what had happened and rebuild my confidence. Silverwater Lake, once a place of fear, became a symbol of resilience. With time, I found the courage to return to its shores. Boating, which had once been a source of joy, slowly became a way for me to reclaim my strength and independence. Eventually, I decided to pursue a new path. Inspired by the support I had received, I enrolled in courses to become a counselor, determined to help others navigate their own battles and find their inner strength. Looking back, I realized my story wasn't just one of betrayal, it was one of survival and empowerment. Jake and Carol may have tried to destroy me, but they had failed. I emerged from the ordeal stronger than ever, ready to embrace the life I was always meant to live. Thank you for joining me on Nina's journey of resilience, courage, and justice. If this story moved you, please show your support by liking the video to let us know you enjoy stories like these. Commenting below with your thoughts. What would you have done in Nina's shoes? Subscribing to our channel for more powerful stories of survival, redemption, and the strength to overcome adversity. Your likes, comments, and subscriptions mean the world to us and help us continue sharing inspiring tales. Thank you for being a part of our community.